Thank you. All right, so when we now take the analogy working with Rubens keys and we look at the chart on page 70, if you will see, all of these different hormones are being down-regulated from the glands where they are made. So as hormones are being down-regulated, we see these receptors down here that are hungry for them. Your receptors are saying, send us the message because we want to make the magic happen. Here's what we know. Some hormones act completely independently. Like look at hormone B there. So for example, let's just say that this B is testosterone. And let's just say that receptor B is just a plain testosterone receptor that's located in your muscle. Every single one of us have that. So when you send some sort of stimulus to your body to release testosterone, it will be released into your bloodstream and it will find this receptor. It's a beautiful thing. But also, remember we talked about testosterone can not only affect testosterone itself, but it can stimulate other hormones as well. So a good example of this, still sticking with green, look at hormone A. Let's go ahead and say that it is testosterone as well. So as testosterone is being down-regulated, okay, it's going to plug into this receptor. And for an example here, let's just say that these red hormones, let's just say that those are growth hormone. That's growth hormone. So as I see this testosterone plugging into here, I now can see the growth hormone unlocking this receptor as well. And this is going on all over your body. You have receptors for testosterone, receptors for growth hormone, receptors for insulin-like growth factor, receptors for insulin, receptors for prolactin. What does prolactin do?
Halfway right.
Okay, halfway right. It allows the production of milk. So all of a sudden, remember we talked about men have mammary glands, yes, yes. And we also know that if we all of a sudden gave you prolactin, that hormone, where's that hormone come from?
Pituitary gland.
Anterior pituitary gland, excellent. Okay, I was wanting more than you. Okay, remember I'm trying to be better at letting y'all answer questions before I answer them for you. When we see these things going on, what that does is, if that gland is there and some hormone sends the message that it needs to take place, that's when it all comes together. So the reason for men, the reason that you're typically not making milk is because your receptors are saying, I don't need it right now. It's a beautiful thing that goes on. Now let's take that same example for females. Let's just say you go through the process of giving birth. Shout out to Kendall's wife again, okay? Like right now, her body is about to start saying, send the prolactin, we have a person we have to feed now. So therefore, prolactin will be released from the anterior pituitary gland. It will be down-regulated. And what will be waiting for it when it gets there? A receptor. Okay, so anytime I go like this with me, okay, this means receptor, okay? All hormones have a receptor. So they are down-regulated. What is that theory called? Lock and key. That receptor gets to do its job, and it's happy. Here's what we know. The better our workout program is in design, the more efficient and effective our receptors will be at wanting the hormone. It's the receptors that determine how much of the hormone is made. It is basically a supply and demand process. If your hormones, if your receptors are not being challenged to order more hormones, what are the glands going to stop doing? Producing the hormone. Think about this as it applies to life. Let's take most average people. None of us in this room say correct. Okay. So average normal people, they start off, they go through college, they move through life, they end up getting married, then kids and all of these things, but they somehow don't get this in the mix of their life, and they start eating crap because life is busy. You are no longer sending the stimulus to the receptor to make the hormones. So therefore, your body will respond to whatever you ask it to. So if you're not sending your body a stimulus to make testosterone, what's it gonna stop doing? Making testosterone. If you don't send your body a stimulus to make growth hormone, what's it gonna do? Stop making growth hormone. And here's what's jacked up. We are sending a stimulus to our body by consuming way too many crappy carbohydrates. We're telling the receptors in our fat cells to hold on to that extra energy there instead of utilizing it in the muscle by what we eat. Your body will respond to whatever you ask it to. Here's what we have just said. We've just said, oh, that's just the natural aging process. I don't know that I necessarily believe that. I believe that if we continually ask the receptors to produce hormones, your body will. Now, it's going to become a little less efficient as it was when you were 18, but it still will produce because you're still asking it to. Guys, when you consistently expose your body to this kind of training, something's going to take place. But unfortunately, we're not telling people the best way to work out. We're still telling people that getting on the stupid treadmill is going to all of a sudden change all their receptors. It's not. It's not enough stimulus to create anabolic hormones. And you guys, do you remember when I said last week that this is the fountain of youth? This is the fountain of youth. If you will train this way, this anabolic chain will stay intact. And you can make some fierce things happen. And that's what you want to go on with your life. Trust me. So does this pay attention? Does this make sense? Yes? Yes? Any questions, comments, concerns on that? So I could test you about it tomorrow and you rock it. Yes? Okay. What's that theory called? Lock and key. Sorry. What is this called? Downregulating. What is this? Receptors. Very nice. Every single hormone has its own receptor, but some receptors depend on 1, 2, or even 3 hormones to get the job done. So the goal is to unlock every single receptor out there, because that's when you know good things are going on without a doubt. Okay, come over with me to page 72. Now, check this out. I'm under heavy resistance exercise and hormonal increases. Long term. Now check this out. This means months to years. So what I am telling you now, my beautiful, strong, young friends, if you are not strength training as of March 27th, 2018, start today. Today. And here's what you must know. The earlier you start, the longer your body can have to create these beautiful adaptations. For those of you that I've had in sports nutrition, y'all know it's my platform to get you to a point when you're young so that you don't have to worry about losing 50 pounds when you're 35. Let's learn how to stay lean and strong the younger that you are so you don't have to figure it out later. Figure it out now. And when you figure it out through the nutrition that you're putting in your body and training like you're 18, your body will respond a lot longer. And that's what you want. So it says long term. Get in this game of life now and stay in it. Long term, consistent, heavy resistive training brings a significant adaptive response that changes size, strength, and power of the trained musculature.